The Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has raised an alarm over the worsening security situation and economic hardship in Edo State since Governor Monday Okpebholo assumed office. At a press conference in Abuja, Honorable Ogbeide Ifaluyi, speaking on behalf of the PDP Action Group, claimed that the state has witnessed a significant increase in kidnapping, killings, and court-related violence. They allege that the state is losing revenues to non-state actors who divert taxes and levies from small businesses into private pockets. The group also criticized Okpebholo's administration for abolishing digital platforms used to collect taxes and levies, employing street touts and enforcing hooligans to collect taxes by hand, and failing to meet the obligation to pensioners.
The area of the states from about 7 billion naira in October 2024 to about 3.5 billion naira as at February 2025. The Edo State Inland Revenue Service has even raised alarm that the state is losing revenue to non-state actors who divert taxes and levies from small businesses into private pockets. The GDP of Edo State has slipped from $25 billion as at October last year to about $17.6 billion today in just 3 months. The taxpayers' count has dropped from 373,000 in July of last year to less than 300,000 today. This simply tells you that small businesses have lost confidence in the government and also avoiding and evading taxes. The digital platform used to collect taxes and levies by the previous government has been abolished, and the new administration has employed the use of street touts and hooligans to collect and enforce taxes and levies by hand from business operators. Big investments are leaving Edo State to other states, and this has significantly increased unemployment by 7%, as Edo had an unemployment rate of 12% last year, but has now grown to 17 to 19% this year. Edo is now unable to meet her UBEC counterpart funding quota to enable the states have access to UBEC grants. The state is having a hard time meeting her obligation to pensioners, as the last arrears paid was made by Godwin Obaseki in August of 2024, and the second batch was to be due by January of 2025. As if the state is not bleeding enough, there's a high scale of fiscal rascality, gargantuan financial misappropriation, and mindless squandermania of state resources today, and we are urging Edo people to stand up and demand accountability from the government. A few weeks ago, the Edo people were deceived by the Okpebholo administration, where several buses were paraded on TV, 12% under Godwin Obaseki from 2020 to 2024. These are figures that are verifiable by anybody. But the latest survey has shown that unemployment has spiked now in Edo State to a staggering 17%. And that should bother anybody, because if just a few months ago, government was able to engage young people and to make them productive, how is it then that in such a short time, people have lost confidence in the economy of the states, investments are leaving the states, small businesses are folding up, and when businesses fold up, it affects unemployment scale. And that is why we have seen that the unemployment figures have gone up, and it's not just our testament alone. Like I said, you could check the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. These are figures that they gave to us, and this is a reflection of what we see on the streets. Also to the IGRO of the state. Like we said before, as at October 2024, Edo State IGRO for the month of October was a staggering 7 billion, according to the EIRS. But last month alone, we saw it drop to 4.7 billion. And for the month of January, it dropped to 4.7 billion. And for the month of February, 3.5 billion, as reported by the Edo State Inland Revenue Service. So these are figures, from government sources. And we're wondering that how come the taxpayers' count is reducing? How come investments are leaving? How come IGR is reducing? And the facts are not far-fetched. The EIRS is also claiming that money. Just a few months ago, Edo was #1 state in digital transformation in Nigeria, with sophisticated digital infrastructure all over the state, making Edo the first state in West Africa to go paperless. Just a few months ago, the Edo State Health Insurance Scheme was the most robust insurance scheme in southern Nigeria, with over 350,000 residents enrolled enjoying comprehensive health insurance. There was also free coverage for pensioners. Just a few months ago, Edo was being celebrated for the very efficient and effective education reform initiative called Edo Best, a program that has just been recently adopted by the World Bank as a model for educational development in low-income countries. All of these amazing and ambitious progress have been thrown into the dustbin, and Edo has retrogressed on all fronts. The Edo people, like never before, are in a hopeless state and are earnestly praying on the Edo Governorship Election Tribunal sitting in Abuja to stand up to the occasion and deliver justice to the Edo people by granting the prayers of Dr. Aswan Ighodalo, who truly won the majority of lawful votes at the September 21, 2024 governorship elections. As a group, we totally align our thoughts with the good people of Edo State, and we are hopeful that justice will prevail and Aswan Ighodalo will be given the mandate offered to him by the good people of Edo State. In our history, with millions of Edo citizens and residents dealing with a high level of insecurity and unprecedented brigandage, sustained kidnapping, ravaging the state, leaving investors fleeing the state, and hundreds of small businesses closing shop. This year alone, almost 40 Edo citizens and residents have been killed. Several others have been kidnapped and still haven't been found by their families or the police. Just last week, a young lady by name Okpebholo was kidnapped in her home in Ekpoma, and her whereabouts is still unknown. This was just a few days after 3 young men were brutally killed by suspected headsmen in their communities. In the words of Senator Adams Oshomole, Edo State is under siege, and the state government appears helpless and overwhelmed. This is in huge contrast to what was obtainable a few months ago under former Governor Godwin Obaseki, where insecurity was tackled head-on using technology. Edo had a sophisticated command and control center where we had security gadgets that provided 24-hour surveillance of hotspots, preventing kidnappers from having a safe haven in our forests. Sadly, the command and control center has now been relegated. The government of Godwin Obaseki reorganized the security architecture of the state, developing a security network where local vigilante groups helped to secure their communities, and Edo was adjudged one of the safest states in Nigeria.